I'm gonna call to order the, Monday, October 20th, 2025 meeting of the MCI Advisory Board. We'll start with the folks that are in the room. Roll call. John?
John's here.
Scott? Here. Linda?
Here.
Aaron?
Here.
Mark? Here. Dan here. Emily, I see you.
Here.
And Lee?
Here.
I believe I see. Okay, thank you, everybody. We need a clerk for this, for the meeting. Linda, thank you. And the next order of business is approving the minutes. Looks like we have, on the 2nd of September, we have, minutes from our executive session. So these are for approval but not release. Anyone want to make a motion that,
So moved.
thank you, second,
Second.
thank you, Linda. Go around the room again. John,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Dan, yes, Emily,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Great, thank you. On September 29th, we have non-executive session, that's just from our meeting, we actually have both. Do I hear a motion to approve them as written?
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
thank you, Linda.
And just to let you know, Peter's iPhone 3, so I just made him a co-host. So Peter is here.
Okay, great, thank you. Peter, did you have a chance to look at the minutes of the 29th?
Yes.
And you approve them?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. And then on the 29th, we have an executive session for approval but not release. Do I hear a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Thank you, John.
Second.
Thank you, Linda. And then John,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Linda,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Dan, yes. Emily,
I'll pass. I wasn't in attendance.
okay, Lee,
Yes.
Elizabeth, you know what we're doing? Kind of put
Yes,
you on the
approving
spot.
minutes, yes.
Okay, and then Peter,
Yes.
okay, thank you all. I think this is gonna go fairly quickly for the, couple of items here, but, the next item relates to, town staff updates. And a decam coordination, our last meeting. Do you want me to start with a decam and you guys can? All right, if we could highlight it. We had a good meeting. You know, I think everyone knows that we're kind of in the throes of trying to continue the progress, and some of the stuff is a little bit challenging to talk about just because it has relevance and in the executive session, so I'll try to be informative without tipping over into that. We talked about the effectiveness of the Concord Business Partnership meeting. You seem to be very pleased to be a part of that. We all know we're working on this draft of the MOU, try to put in front of them. And we continue to, there's a commitment to continue the joint effort to figure out phase 2. DCAM basically commented that, I think this is, Mark, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but they are definitely open to the possibility, and they've said as much in some of our previous meetings, of the possibility of swapping some of the housing requirement and potentially have that realized on some of the other town parcels. So it was good to hear that. Alan gave us an update on the whole group on wastewater treatment progress.
Did he talk at all about, phasing of cost?
Not in depth, no, not really. I think we only way we that's not at least not in terms of what I recalled, but we did talk a little bit about to clarify, I think Paul clarified that when right now there's they discovered a leak in the line, right, that's coming down from the farm. And so they're going through a program, Vianine, which is, people will probably know what that is, and they're trying to figure out exactly, isolate that, locate it, and then address it, because they think part of the uptick in consumption is related to that. So Paul thinks that when everything gets resolved, it's probably gonna be closer in the order to, average daily use 30 to 40,000 gallons a day.
Or they thought it was at 100?
They thought it was 60 days, it's been 60 days, as much as 100 lately because of this. So that's definitely good news for us, right?
Good.
And I think that is about it. Did I forget anything, Mark or Megan?
I think there was a lot of agreement that, the last meeting with Mass DOT left us all thinking that there could be some improvements in their plans for Route 2, and you know exactly what that would be, but generally speaking, I think our interests are aligned with PCAM's interests, which is they don't create a wall to the west and the north that make it very difficult to access the site. So there's definitely room for collaboration there about what that might look like.
Did DOT share any plans?
In that meeting, weekend?
Yeah, or no, with DOT,
Previous.
there was at our last meeting, there was gonna be a DOT meeting, I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did come up with some concepts, 3 of which were flyovers, basically Commonwealth Avenue over Route 2 and then intersecting with sort of a rerouted Barrett's Mill Road, Great Road connection, kind of a T. With the difference between them had mostly to do with what the on-ramp, off-ramp sort of was at Route 2, and one version, which, what they call that, an inverted diamond or something, which when you're going on the overpass actually switches the lane travel sides. So instead of on the right, they're on the left, which is a way of somehow streamlining reducing the left turns for on and off of Route 2, because the lanes switch and then they cross back.
Sounds like a tribute to the British for 1770.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's like it.
it really is, and it involves some traffic lights to accomplish that, but supposedly, I guess it creates more storage capacity for left turns, and then you have an unopposed left turn instead when you're going. So that, and then they had their fourth alternative was an at-grade alternative, which looked suspiciously like what agency had come up with in our proposal, so they kind of included that one.
Route 2 is gonna go straight through, no stop, nothing. Right?
No, not in an accurate.
Not in the at-grade, the at-grade would be basically a pair of lights. You know, there would, Route 2 would still go straight through it, which is stopped, which, you know, arguably, I mean, it stops a quarter mile further down the road at Route Baker Avenue, so the question is sort of where do you pump the brakes? And the
Historically, that's been one of the criticisms of doing any improvements to the road.
yeah,
It's just, you gotta just go fast so that you go slow.
so that you can go slower. And conceptually, I think the way we can think about that is the design of Route 2 could either be a highway oriented design like the first 3 with their overpasses and the entrance ways. Or it could be the boulevard version, which says it actually looks more like, you know, Route 3 in Burlington or something like that. With things and lights and lots of and so forth. And conceptually, those are sort of the basic choices, the basic design choices, and we could think about how that applies to the property that we're interested in and what it might mean for the community.
Thank you, Mark. Megan, do you have anything that you wanna add?
I think one other thing that came up at the last DCAM meeting was the DCAM interest in understanding what, you know, if any municipal program would look like on the site, and so I just wanted to mention that is being looked at by our, Public Works team. And also in our MassDOT meeting, the question is, you know, kind of what is DCAM and the town looking to do at the parcel? At the site, so they can think about that in relation to their design. And I agree with what Mark said about MassDOT being really seems to be listening. We have these quarterly meetings, and some of the things that were mentioned specifically in previous meetings over the summer, like pedestrian and cyclist access, access points to some of the other businesses in the corridor were addressed in some of these concepts, and also how, you know, making sure the prison cemetery is not an area that could be disturbed. You know, all of these elements are being considered, and I think we've got really motivated. I mean, the MassDOT team is really, not that they haven't always been motivated, but really they are eager to move something forward, and this seems to be a real priority, which is very exciting. They mentioned they're hoping to have a, you know, some preferred alternatives for discussion in the spring. And then they might be looking to accelerate our conversations to maybe a more monthly cadence. So they also are interested in kind of we understand that there's gonna be a longer term solution here, but they are open to thinking about shorter term solutions to deal with the issue, knowing that the longer term, you know, might be potentially years out, based on funding and design and that kind of thing. So I think that has been continues to be a very positive partnership, and we'll keep you all posted about future meetings and when that starts to pick up.
Great, thanks. And so going back to your first point, Russ and I have been chatting a little bit, and we're trying to put together arrange a site tour of the facilities that potentially could be reused, and I thought folks might be interested, so I'll keep you all posted on that. Gets established. Yep.
I got a question for Megan. Megan, when you were speaking with DCAM, did the subject of funding come up for the remediation, cleanup, and the wastewater? In terms of, are they counting on their development to recoup some of those costs?
Are they counting on the redevelopment to recoup the cleanup costs at the parcel? I mean, I think that's probably big, that is.
That's part of the,
Yeah,
part of
the plan, I mean, I
the
think
plan
that's,
for the developer to pay for.
I think that's been said at meetings, from DCAM, that they are looking to have a developer, just do the cleanup, for part of it, yeah.
Okay.
But it hasn't come up in, you know, any more detail than that, at that high level, but.
I think they've also talked a lot about the different grant projects that are available at
Okay.
the state level.
Great.
They mentioned those as, you know, not coming right out and saying for sure we would get those, but they have reminded us of those large grant programs.
Okay.
And that could apply for some of the infrastructure improvements too, or programs like this. Yeah. And then just in case people are interested, I attended West Concord Day Saturday, I guess it was. Set up some boards there, probably, I don't know, 20 people stopped over the course of 3 hours or so. And so a lot of similar questions, definitely some enthusiasm. I got a sense of people excited about it. And so that seemed like a good thought. That is all I think we have for updates. The next item of business is to discuss a request from the Concord Historical Commission for a letter of support for a community preservation application.
We have, Ann Clifford, who works, the town staff member with the historical commission online.
Awesome, so, Ann, do you wanna walk us through?
Sure.
You.
Hello, right, I'm Ann Clifford, senior planner with the town of Concord. I work with historical, the CPC and the HDC. And it was about, I think February last year, I had written a memo just sort of highlighting some of the historical resources in the area that extend and highlighting the.
Yeah.
Can you hear- Sorry.
On Zoom,
Jan, we're trying to turn you up a little.
Highlighting the connections between the reformatory and the entire community. I know your group in DCAM is obviously focused on the MCI property itself, but the influence of MCI Concord, the inmates, the reformers, the industrialists, the people who built West Concord, that extends well beyond the confines of the prison. So it seemed, I know that DCAM is doing a study, obviously within the walls of the prison and including the superintendent's house. And your board, your consultants, of course, did a brief overview as well. But there are gaps in that history, and the Historical Commission is looking to fill those gaps. Because, you know, this isn't just about the prison, it's about the community that surrounds it and how the community relates to the prison. So this has been, you know, a long priority for the Historical Commission, and it's been deferred due to a lack of resources for many years. But now, obviously, this rises to the top of the list of priorities for surveying and inventorying. There is the inventory forms for West Concord, most of them date to the 1980s. And of course, our understanding of history has changed radically since then. You know, we're looking at diverse perspectives, the perspectives of the you know, the people who were incarcerated there. So just sort of bringing to life these untold stories that have been neglected for so long. The surveyors in the 1980s did an excellent job, but they really just scratched the surface. So this is a thematic study that would really dig deeper into those connections. There are also areas in West Concord that have never been surveyed, including the prison farm. And that's also been on the list of the highest priorities identified, you know, by people at the state level too, for a very long time. Back, I think, to 2007. And then finally, again, we know DCAM is doing a study, but we don't know exactly what that study is or what the results will be. I think it's confidential. And so there may be gaps when that is complete. And we want to leave some wiggle room in this grant application to fill some of those gaps if the community decides that those gaps need to be filled. So, the study, as it says in the application or in the cover sheet and the application, it would inform the preservation of West Concord's distinctive character, human scale, diverse housing stock, anchor buildings and gateways like the superintendent's house, identify themes and the resources and areas that support those themes, place the events, themes, and resources in their regional and their national context. And this is a national story here. Inform preservation planning and zoning by identifying West Concord areas for future surveying and potential districts, facilitating the evaluation of historic resources for National Register eligibility, and identifying character defining features that provide a basis for refining design guidelines. Concord has some, you know, design guidelines, but preservation hasn't, and historic resources there haven't really been highlighted, but there are experts who can help with that. So that's about it. And I guess you all, we had sort of introduced this back in February. You all had attended some historical commission meetings and encouraged the commission to apply. And so now the commission did apply to CPC. And this just shows great collaboration, I think, between town boards and committees. You know, we support you, you support us. So. Any questions?
Yeah, are there any questions among them? On
Okay,
the board?
Peter has one.
Peter?
Yeah, hi. I had attended the meeting that was just referenced, and I had met with staff, and I would, be honored to put forward a motion to do a letter of support for this application. It sort of fills in some of the gaps, as we've just heard, connecting the community and the prison, the West Concord community and the prison. And it allows some flexibility for the developer to decide whether or not they want to go after historic preservation. It's not tying anybody's hands. It provides maximum amount of flexibility, and that's one of the reasons I'm in favor of it.
Before we do that.
I just had a question, there was reference to the survey, is that like a site topographical survey being done of the parcels?
It's a survey of historic resources, so not just buildings, it's buildings and landscapes in their entirety, how they relate to one another. So it's, I don't know if you're familiar with MACRIS, the Massachusetts Inventory of historic or cultural and archaeological resources. So this would enhance the MACRIS entries. So we have a better understanding of what we have. You can't preserve something if you don't know what you've got.
And you mentioned the farm, would the state consent to that?
You don't necessarily need state consent. It's just a study. This is not placing anything on a register or placing any sort of restrictions on it. It's just information.
Okay.
Peter, I like what you said about flexibility. The idea that a developer will be able to tap into historical tax credits seems to be a good thing. And the fact that there'll be no filings to try to restrict anything is important too, I think. I mean, I know we all love the building, the warden's house. I've heard a great idea about a year ago, that what if you could actually relocate that to the center of make it kind of the center, the focal point of redevelopment, that would be kind of cool. So I think as long as we are in fact preserving full flexibility, it feels like this is a really good thing to move forward. So I would second Peter's motion.
Okay, before we. Did anyone else have any questions? So and you may have explained this, Anna, I find myself wondering about I'm very supportive of it too. I'm just sort of curious about what form it will take, where it will be available, how you guys sort of see it being, describe some of the possible uses, but is that sort of spelled out somewhere, or is that a relatively easy thing to answer?
Right, so it would be really a study. And we're leaving it again sort of open and flexible to, there may be area forms and there may even be building forms that come out of this. That would be included in MACRIS. But again, I know that we want to be supportive of what you're doing, and your changes are rapidly changing, or your plans are rapidly changing. We want to maintain that flexibility too. But certainly a thematic study, and this is something that the national parks and large cities use all the time. This is like the new way of approaching preservation, these thematic studies, rather than the old-fashioned windshield surveys of architecture.
And to John's point, so it would be available theoretically online as an electronic study, or in the library, or with the planning department, or?
Yes, all of the above.
All the above, okay, all right, great. Okay, anyone else have any questions or anything?
Sorry if I missed this, was there a request to the CPC for a certain amount?
Yes. I think is $150,000, I think?
100.
Yeah.
$100,000.
Yeah.
100?
Yeah, the application was in our packet, so just to clarify, in the packet, there was a map. And there's some zones outlined and there's a big red oval, is that the boundaries of the area that we're talking about, and so MCI is just a part. So it includes, it looks like, all the way up to
Yeah.
really the intersection of Barrett's Mill Road and Strawberry Hill Road in the northern part, and down towards my Range Road and so forth, almost to Catarina Heights in the southern part. So is that the area that's covered by this?
Right, that is sort of the general vicinity, yes, within that oval. But it would, again, take a thematic approach rather than an area approach. So it will be an intensive study of the area, it will be a broad thematic study across the entire area in the application.
Lee,
And
did you have a question?
I can bring this up. If
No.
that's helpful.
Okay,
So,
all right, if you don't have any, sorry.
These are previously identified high priority areas in, there's a regional study back in 2007. These are like two of the top 8 areas for study. And then there was the Historical Commission did a study in 2013 that also prioritized these areas in red. So it's really sort of the green and red areas.
Okay.
The focus. And just to give you a sense of what's been done in the past, this is in most of these areas were really very, very broadly surveyed in the 1980s. So they're, cursory and decades old, and again, we have a new way of approaching this. Some areas have never been surveyed, again, like the prison farm and even the cemetery, and this other MCI Concord area has never been surveyed. So this would, supplement these previous surveys and then add new areas as well.
Okay, thank you. And I would, so now, if someone wants to make a motion,
I think you had a motion in a
I
second.
think we did too. All right, good. Sorry, so let's vote on it then. John,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Dan, yes, Emily,
Yes.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
All right, that's
Peter.
Peter. Sorry.
Yes.
Emphatic, yes. Okay, great. Thank you all.
All right. Does somebody need to actually write the letter?
I think AI is gonna take care of it.
Or perhaps, Anne would do a draft, or is that inappropriate? She may know exactly what she wants us to say, close to AI, yeah. Is that really,
AC instead of AI.
yeah, that's what is that what you'll be okay with that? You're muted somehow, but you're nodding, so I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay. All right. Let's see, next order of business is, public comment. Okay, folks that are on Zoom that want to speak, you need to raise your hand so we can let you speak. I do not see any.
Yeah.
Ann, do you have your hand up to speak?
No, that's just not.
That's it.
Okay,
That's the minutes. That's why I didn't sit.
yeah, it's white. Okay, all right.
Then. I know color. Okay.
You know, I know, and no one in the room, so.
I have one. I received in my personal snail mail, a letter from the Walden Woods group. I don't know if the other folks received that. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I just wanna make sure that I was the only one who got it.
Yes. Okay. So,
Was that correspondence to the board?
It was
as a.
as a member of the board, yeah.
Right,
I don't think I saw that.
you want me to send it to you?
I
Sure.
don't know if it should be entered into our correspondence.
Yeah, so you can go to the MCI board at Concord MA.
I didn't get an email, I got like a physical, I can
Oh,
bring it to you,
actual-
like a letter.
Okay, you could scan it and send
Okay.
me it, yeah, okay, then I'll put it in your correspondence folder.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, next order of business is to enter into executive session under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A. Subsection 21, paragraph A, subparagraph 6. To consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. If the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body. And to not return to open session afterwards, and I do declare that that's the case. So, need a vote, John,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Dan, yes, Emily,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
and Peter.
Yes.